Fiancé, 30M, found out about my 28F college days, hasn't talked to me in 3 days. I'd give this is the end? I've been with my fiancé for 2 years, engaged for 2 months. I can go on and on about how great he is, but I won't waste your time. He's awesome. Him and my sister's boyfriend have gotten really close over the past year, and they talk at least twice a week, whether on the phone or FaceTime or just hanging out with all 4 of us. Sister has been with her boyfriend since high school, so obviously her boyfriend knows me very well. As well as my dating history. Last weekend BC of the quarantine, we all thought it would be fun to drink and hang out over FaceTime. It was a FaceTime double date and we all had a blast. Laughing, playing drinking games, we all partied for over an hour, and that's when I was over it and decided to leave the party to call my sister directly without the boys in another room. Well, my fiancée and her boyfriend stayed on FaceTime and continued to get drunk together. During this time, I couldn't hear shit because I was in another room and was talking to my sister. Sister's boyfriend goes and tells a bunch of stories about my college days and how many guys I hooked up with. Just so everyone knows. The actual number of men I've been with. My first 3 years of college was literally one giant party. Without being too descriptive. I admit I was excessive. But at the time it was just what we did. I was single during that time, and me and my friends did a lot. With a lot of guys. Most of them I couldn't even pick out of a lineup. But again, I was in college. Anyways, one of the parties I went to, I ended up hooking up with 4 different guys at the same time. This is relevant later. My fiancé is handsome as F, and I know for a fact he's been with several women. We talked about our past a lot in the beginning of our relationship. I wasn't 100% honest with mine, and I can only assume that he was. After everyone hung up, me and my fiancé were laying in bed and about to sleep when he just calmly asked me, "Did you get gangbanged in college?" My response was, "WTF? Why would you ask that?" That's when he told me everything that my sister's BF told him. He told me details I'm not even sure are 100% true because, again, blur. But a lot of the info was accurate, and so I just told him yes. It was one time. He continued asking questions about the other stuff, but the gangbang thing kept coming up and he had a lot of questions about it that I answered the best of my knowledge. Fast forward to Wednesday. Things had been fine and normal Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But on Wednesday, radio silence. He hasn't texted or talked to me in 3 days. The breaking point was tonight when he came home from work and he asked me, "Are you friends with any of the guys on Facebook?" Again, not lying to him, I admitted that yes, I was friends with all of them. He left a few hours ago and I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. I'm tempted to call the cops, but I feel like that will just make it worse. I feel like garbage. I effing hate my sister's BF right now, but maybe it's not even his fault. Maybe I should have been more honest. I'm so lost. He is the best thing to ever happen to me, and I've never seen him like this before. Is this the end? He refuses to return my calls/texts. Update 1. He eventually came back in the middle of the night and we talked until the morning. We both agreed that he needs to distance himself from the relationship while he figures stuff out. He admitted the only thing he cared about was the gangbang, and he told me he couldn't get the visual out of his head. He then told me about a threesome he had in college, which I think is totally made up, and he just wanted to get a rise out of me, but who knows. It just sounded so unbelievable and it felt like he was trying to get back at me. We did make love before we went to sleep, but it was not good. And by not good I mean he felt like he was just trying to punish me once again. Everything was weird from the kissing to the ending, being vague here because this part is probably what got my post deleted last time. He left in the morning to go stay with his parents and I haven't seen him since. We still text every day, but it's different. Everything is different, and at this point I'm almost positive we aren't going to get married. And again, at this point, I'm okay with that. I know I effed up and I know I lied, and all I can do is live and learn. As soon as this quarantine ends, I plan on using my work program that helps people find therapists. It's part of my benefits and I've never used it before, and I'm legitimately excited to start working on myself for the future, whatever may happen between me and him. To the people who left me horrible messages. Yes, I read every one of them. No, your names do not hurt me. I am not perfect and never claim to be, and I know I have a lot of work to do. But I hope all of you happiness in your perfect relationships with your perfect selves, and good luck with everything. Also, just want to point out there was some confusion about who I was friends with on Facebook. It was just the 4 guys from the gangbang that I was friends with, not every guy I'd ever been with. And I've since deleted every single one of them. Again, my F up. Live and learn. Story number 2. My 27M fiancé, 24F, has accidentally lost/broken 3 engagement rings now. I'm starting to suspect she's doing it on purpose. I've, 27M, been with my fiancé/girlfriend, 24F, for 3 years now. I proposed a year ago, but it definitely wasn't out of the blue. She'd been not so subtly hinting at getting engaged for months at that point. Although we're both somewhat hot-headed, we generally have a good relationship and we occasionally only fight about small, normal things. I know nothing about jewelry, but I spent a lot of time looking for the right ring to propose with. I talked to 2 of her closest friends to get their input, and in the end I spent around $4,000 on the ring. When my fiancée saw it, she told me she loved it and I'm pretty sure she was telling the truth. This January, my fiancée called me up in tears. She'd somehow lost the ring on her way home from work and she had no clue where it might be. I left work early to come help her search, but since she'd been riding the subway, the ring was long gone. My fiancée was clearly distraught, so a few weeks later I dipped into my savings and bought her a different ring. It wasn't quite as expensive as the last, but it was from the same jeweler and still a good make. Around June, I noticed one day that it had been a while since I saw my fiancée actually wear her engagement ring. She went pale and confessed to me that she thought she'd taken it off before bed one night and now it was lost somewhere in our flat. This time we searched for days and I dug up half the floorboards looking for it, but the ring is, to this day, missing. At this point, buying another ring was out of the question, too expensive, so I asked her if she'd rather either A, have a cheap replacement ring, under $50, until after we're married, or B, go without a ring for now. She chose option B. One day we were visiting my grandmother, who asked my fiancé where her ring was. When we told her it was lost, my grandmother was kind enough to give my fiancé one of her rings instead. My fiancé seemed delighted and everything was working out perfectly until this week. I came home to find my grandmother's ring on the table, looking almost unrecognizable. My fiancé cried and told me that she'd managed to step on the ring that morning hard enough to break it. I took the ring to a jewelry repair service right away. Sadly, they told me that since a few small stones are missing and the original fitting is warped, the ring will never really be the same. They also told me that they were certain someone stepping on the ring couldn't realistically cause this amount of damage. When I got home, I brought this up to my fiancée and asked her if she was 100% sure she'd only stepped on the ring. She completely flipped and yelled at me asking if I was calling her a liar. I mentioned what the jewelry store said, and she started screaming about me only caring about money and the cost of the rings. It's been 2 days and we've barely spoken, especially as she's only coming out of our bedroom for meals. TLDR, my fiancée has lost 2 of her engagement rings and now she's broken a third. When I tried to talk with her about it, she exploded. Any advice on how to handle this? The original poster did not make any more update, but from the comments it seems that he stuck with his fiancée. Do you find this fishy? Hopefully everything worked out. Please subscribe if you enjoy these stories. Thanks for watching.